We're going to turn the spotlight on.
The hot seat. The hot seat.
Wait, we're gonna let the cameras get in.
What's just your overall assessment of the performance?
So when you look at the game, it gets frustrating from the standpoint of you go back to everything you did. I thought our preparation was really good. I thought that we practiced the right way. And then when you go look at the game, from a run defense standpoint, I thought we played the run really well against a team that can run the ball. Matter of fact, I think that's probably the lowest total in regular season games since the LSU game last year that they've had. So I thought we did a really good job there. Then at the end of the day, we just didn't make enough plays. And really that goes to all downs because we didn't have sacks. But even on the early downs, we had him off the spot and didn't get him on the ground. So not only third down, but at the end of the day, we just didn't finish enough plays is what I told our guys. And then we just didn't play well on third down. And then when you go to the third down stuff, it really just gets down to execution. And execution from the standpoint of we need to have better eye control, we need to have better leverage, and we probably need to play a little more physical too. So if we do those things, and I'm not talking just up front, I'm talking about across the board. And if we do those things, there's several plays there we could have won. And when you're placing a team like that that's, predicted to go to the college football playoffs before the season started, you have a chance to, take maybe one of those touchdowns off the board. And we ended up giving up 2 touchdowns and a couple field goals, but there was probably some points that could have been taken off if we'd have finished more plays. So to me, we just got to continue to work. You got to look at it and say, the hardest thing as a player is when things don't go well in a certain situation or area, you have to look at them and say, what do I got to do to get better? So we watched those plays today in a professional setting to understand that we need better eye control, we need better leverage, and we got to play more physical in those situations. If we do that, here's what can happen.
When you're watching all those third downs being converted, what's the frustration level, I guess?
Well, obviously, because we were playing so well on first down, and in the run game, it does become frustrating. But then at the end of the day, you start looking up at the score and you see them where you're, one possession behind, or hey, get the ball back, that kind of deal. So it's always about the next play. So you kind of don't. I never really worry about the last play until we're on the sidelines. It's like the next play, next call. How do we get them stopped? Just like when a guy goes down from an injury standpoint. I feel for the guy because I love the guys, but it's about the next. You got to get the next guy ready, and to me, it's about the next moment. Just like I told the guys today, from a competitive standpoint, you got to really we want to play Vanderbilt today because you get an opportunity to go out and play, and guys work really hard. They like to be successful, so we got an opportunity Saturday to showcase our talents and get back to the way we played.
What were the halftime adjustments?
Halftime adjustments? Well, on the early down stuff, not a lot. On the third down stuff, we honestly played as much pressure or simulated pressure as, say, zone. But then it goes back to this execution and being, like I said, better eye control, better leverage, and a little more physical. And if we did all those things, we could have finished a few more plays, and if we'd have finished a few more plays, we'd have had a chance to win the game.
Being a little more physical, was that something that you thought was maybe a little unique to this game, or is that something you've seen kind of all year?
No, I wouldn't say all year because, you go back and look from a third down standpoint, coming into the game, on possession, I look at SEC games. Like I don't look at non-SEC, so if you look at the SEC games, we were in possession downs, third and fourth down, we were right at 68% for the year, which was probably about 4th in the league, which is kind of where you want to be. We were on our goal. Our goal was right at 65, 66%. So to me, it was more about in this game of being better in those areas. And that's what we got to work on and understand that, each week things change. 1 week it's this issue, next week it's this issue. And as a player and a competitor, you always got to compete to find ways at the end of the day to win games. And these are the things we got to work on this week. So we're going to work hard. We had a good practice today. I like our guys' attitude, and we just got to be ready to compete on Saturday.
Are you surprised by the number of busts, especially in the secondary? You guys are pretty experienced back there.
Yeah, I think that the lack of communication or, final finishing of the play is something that we've obviously got to do better, and we've addressed it, and we'll make sure that happens next time.
Do you have Do you have an idea of how many they were? Like missed assignments, missed tackles?
Oh, well, if you're just strictly talking, third down, 12 of 18, there's 12 of them. So you can go that route.
When you're talking about aggressiveness, are you talking about on the back end or up front?
I'm talking about all over the field. When I say physicality, I mean, I'm saying that we need to be more physical in all areas, and not just. And I'm not talking. I thought our run defense, we were really physical. I mean, that's a good runner. That's a good offensive line. We really couldn't run the ball. And like I said, I think it was their lowest total in a regular season game since LSU last year. But I mean, I think you got to challenge guys. You got to get on guys, and you got to play with. You got to play with a little more physicality, and that's what we'll work on.
The injuries at linebacker.
Yeah. Can you play?
Not anymore.
Can you give me one play?
Not anymore.
I'll get fired.
Yeah, real quickly.
You'll be on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll be getting roped. I have a little meme of me getting blown by. But
You would probably respond like that guy at Baltimore.
We could
with the
put
Baltimore.
you like water boy, just like send you in there one time, right?
Cleveland Browns guy.
Go hit
But
somebody.
those
Right,
injuries,
yeah.
you're always about next man up and
Yeah,
stuff, but just how debilitating is that to lose a guy with those guys' versatility?
Well, I think
They give you a lot of
anytime,
options.
anytime you lose quality guys like that as people, players, preparation, they give us a lot of versatility. In some ways, you're not only losing, you're not losing 2, but you can actually lose 4, because like with, Moon, you're not losing you're really losing like 2 players, because he can do multiple things for you. So, we got a depth chart. We're working on it, and guys understand. Here's my role, and I got to be ready to play.
So what have you seen from Mahmoud? He's a guy that's
Mahmoud actually did a good job in the game. Came in there, really played more in our base stuff, and played in the run defense. Mahmoud's really fast as he continues to grow and develop, and he's a redshirt freshman right now that that is playing because of our situation. He's a talented guy, but at the end of the day, a year from now, he's going to be a much bigger, stronger guy when he gets a year in the strength conditioning program. And then you combine that with his speed that he already has and athletic ability, he can be a special guy. I like it wasn't too big for him. I always look at, can you tell me what's happening on the field? Can you communicate with me? When you're not in the ballpark on that, that's when I have trouble. Not that you're not going to make mistakes, but when you can communicate and verse with me, here's kind of what I saw, or here's what happened, we can work with that. And I thought he did a really good job with that. I thought he understood what was going on, how he needed to play, the things he needed to correct, and he made a few plays for us. So I was pleased with his progress, and I think he'll obviously get some snaps moving forward.
Trey Dean has all the physical tools you'd want, but seems to be out of position here and there. What's
I think
holding him
when
back
you
a
look
little?
at Trey's a very competitive guy, a very passionate guy. He's a guy that we were able to win 10 games with last year as an outside player. This year we're actually 7-2 with him as an inside player. I mean, we've won 7 games with him this year. So we'll continue to work and develop him, and kind of get him in the right spot.
How steep is the learning curve with that position?
It's not steep. I mean, it's shorter zones. Things happen quicker sometimes because you're closer to the ball. Meaning, it's like any sport. The closer you get to the ball, the quicker things happen. But from a learning position, it's not really. I mean, if you're the flat player, you got first to the flat. If you're the hook player, you're going to stay inside of 2. I mean, so there's concepts there that you can break it down into about 3 or 4 things, and you put all your techniques into that, and then you just kind of react or play relative to what you see.
Anything jump out to you about Vanderbilt's rushing attack?
They did a good job against LSU as far as getting some point of attack movements. I think their line's pretty physical. I think their running back's really good. Sometimes when you're not having the success as a team, a guy like that doesn't get noticed. But when you watch, he's hard to tackle. He runs through guys. He's very similar to the guy at South Carolina, and we didn't necessarily do a great job with him at times. So we've got to be aware of that. So he's a guy that I think you got to respect and understand that he can run through you, so we got to play.
Preparing for 2 quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have an injury report, right?
No, not
You
yet.
get one. Yeah, I wish I had one in college football. You know.
Do you though?
Dan
Dan
doesn't.
might disagree.
Huh?
He might disagree.
I think
with
you
Dan.
should. Everybody should do it. Everybody does it, or everybody doesn't do it. That's
Well,
what
with
I
gambling,
think.
it seems inevitable.
Huh?
That's,
I mean, I don't care. I mean, if you want to have it, great. But everybody's got to be on board. But if one team's not going to do it, then I don't think anybody should do it myself.
Right.
But I personally would like to see everybody do it, just so I can prepare for dudes like that.
So you'll
right?
watch tomorrow and see what they announce?
Yeah, if you want to, once you call
If
and
he
ask.
lets you know, I'll let you know.
We'll
Okay.
tweet you.
So you're going to face
He's
two.
announcing it tomorrow.
Yeah, so when you play them, you have to just have an awareness to the running styles of each quarterback. Their offense really kind of stays the same, but you have to have awareness of which guy can have really good athletic ability and has speed on the edge, as opposed to maybe another guy that doesn't. Now, they can all obviously pull the ball on the read zone stuff because they still run all the quarterback run plays. It's just some guys will be a little more dangerous than others. And then in the pass rush and things like that, some guys you have to account for a little bit more in the pass rush because they can take off and create double-digit plays and things like that. So I don't think you really change how you play them. It's just you have to have an awareness of who that guy is to understand his athletic ability.
You're going to face probably maybe two of the best tight ends other than Kyle in the league.
Yeah.
The next 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
What's the challenge there? Where's that responsibility kind of fall?
Well, I think that anytime you have, it'll fall obviously on the linebacker / safety kind of guys. Not that our corners couldn't be on the guy because people line guys up all over the place. The biggest thing there is when you have, guys that have size like that is getting into them, being physical and trying to get them off the spot and being in tight coverage where guys had to be accurate with the ball.
How do you think you've done against tight ends? And the Miami guy got some, but
Yeah, I mean, the Miami had the one play there. I really can't say that I felt like the tight ends have hurt us. I'm not saying that they haven't made plays, but I haven't seen any Gonzalez's or Kellen Winslow's out there.
they're pretty challenging. Two
Oh, yeah,
guys coming
yeah.
up, Pickney and.
Well,
and
Pickney's a good
I can't
player.
pronounce Alberto.
Alberto, yeah.
I think both of them are challenging guys. I mean, the guy at Missouri last year was
He's incredible.
he actually got hurt in our game, if you remember.
I didn't. But,
Maybe you should be in concussion play.
Permanent concussion.
No, you're right. Both guys are good players. I think anytime you have a tight end that's athletic and catch the ball, it just adds a dimension to your offense, and that's what it does because it stretches you in the sense of more guys have to cover. Meaning, some of the teams we played the last couple of weeks, you really didn't worry about the tight end, and you could have a guy cover them knowing that, hey, he could kind of cover and you could worry about other people. When that guy becomes a guy, you've just added another target to the passing game, and you got to account for him where he is.
mm-hmm.
So,
Thanks, appreciate
All right.
it. Appreciate all
Y'all
the
be
time.
good,
And
man.
the very last third down completion that closed out the game,
That was a tight end.
somebody's, that was a tight end, but somebody
Oh,
who fell
was it?
down. He was at his feet.